Right, hello guys. This is not a disclaimer, right? This is an educational purpose video. For those people who really are not, who really don't know the laws of the road, right? And basically don't know the biking laws, especially when it comes to e-bikes. This bike here, this one here, is not an e-bike. Yeah, it's a bicycle, just pedal assisted only. So in my eyes, I do not need, and in the law's eyes as well, I do not need a license to ride it, and I do not need insurance to ride it either. Right? Now this is where you guys are going wrong. This is why the police are going round taking your bikes away from you, because you're not listening and not taking the law into account. Now, if you follow the law like I regularly do, by road laws, I mean all road laws, even cars. I mean, I'm a normal person, and when I see drivers, in cars and in trucks and stuff like that, not paying attention to their driving on their mobile phones when they're not supposed to be, like, that's when I get angry, because that's where the most accidents happen. And laws like this are there to protect people and stop accidents. That's what they're there for. So everybody might go, oh, but laws restrict everything, this and that and the other. No, these are to protect you and everybody else around you. That's what they're designed to do. Hence the reason why you've got the highway code and the green cross code. That's exactly what it's for, to keep you safe. If you don't understand it, then don't blame me when the police come knocking on your front door and taking your equipment away from you, or your bikes and stuff like that, because you've gone out and broken the law. That's your problem. You know what I mean? She there is fully roadworthy. You can see her reflectors on there. She's got lights on. Well, the lights are not on there, but I've got lights for her. She's fully insured, even though I don't need insurance, right? It's for my own peace of mind. That's why I got her insured. Plus, I wear a helmet when I ride, and I've got a provisional driving license. Even though I don't need a provisional driving license for that, but for some motorbikes and bikes in general, some bikes in general, you need a provisional driving license, insurance, and a helmet. Yeah, right. That's basically the law. Plus, there's a speed limit which people don't understand. There is literally a speed limit on cycles. If that goes over 20 miles an hour, right, it's breaking the law. If I go over 20 miles an hour on my bike, I'm breaking the law. Simple. It doesn't go over 20 miles an hour. It'd be even hard to reach that. Well, mind you, you can reach that going downhill, but it's literally impossible to keep it up without a motor. Now, I'm going to show you another screen, but this has got the UK law on riding an e-bike in this country. This is what you need to ride an e-bike. Now, you guys might think to yourself, oh, like, why is it telling me this? Because you guys are not educated enough to realise. You go out there, you buy these things, right, not realising the law surrounding it. Yeah, they don't tell you in the shop, they don't tell you when you purchase it, right? They don't turn around and say, oh, if it goes over 15 miles an hour, you could have a motorbike license. Which in that case, really, you do not need a motorbike license. you need a provisional license and insurance, right? Because it states on the back of your license, I've got one here, I've got mine here, it tells you what you can and cannot ride on a provisional driving license, right? On the back of your license, on mine, I can ride a moped, which means if I get a electric motor for that, it's classed as basically a moped, a 50cc moped, right? I would need insurance. I mean, you can get insurance for bikes now. It's less than a tenner. Actually, it's less than a fiver. That's insured for about £3.50 a month. £3.50 a month. How mad's that? I can ride, like, on my license, I can ride up to a 125cc on my license. I need to hide. I'll hide that. On my license, 125. This has got my ID, my address and everything. I don't want everybody knowing where I live. Also, if I could get this back in there. Yeah, like I say, also, yeah, you could drive a 125 on a provisional license, up to 125, and a, what was it, a 1.4 litre on a car on a provisional license, up to 1.4, or is it 1.3? I forget, but it's one of them with L plates, and you must have insurance. I used to I had a friend who used to go around like driving on a provisional driving license with just insurance. He used to get nabbed by the police all the time because he was driving what you call it cars, like 3 litre cars and stuff like that, with no L plates and no person next to him, no qualified driver next to him, and he used to get in trouble all the time. I don't know if he still does it, but you know, or yeah, that's what happens. Now we're gonna go to this next screen because I want to explain this to you, right, and show you the actual law on the matter. Here it is. The UK, UK government website. You can find all the documents on here. It's all there, point blankly in plain text. It says here, right, now, bear in mind, kids can ride these bikes. You can ride an electric bike if you're 14 and over, as long as it's an electrically assisted pedal cycle, which means pedal assisted bike, right? You do not need a license to ride an EPA. It does not need to be registered, taxed or insured, which means if if it's classed as a motorbike, you need to do these 3 things. It needs to be registered, taxed and insured. But because it's an electric assisted bike, it does not need to be insured. and you don't need a license for it. But the way I see it, yeah, is if you're gonna buy one of these bikes, I reckon you should get your motorbike license first. Just go out and get your motorbike license or get a provisional driving license. It's so easy to get, yeah. And then get a what you call it, an insurance package. I mean, that's the people I'm insured by. Hiscox. Just get yourself a plan and keep to that plan for your insurance. I mean, you could do a car insurance if you want, like a year. But mine's monthly. It works out like £3.50 a month, maybe if just yeah, maybe just under £3.50 a month. And it says when you're on an EAPC, an EAPC must have pedals that can be used to propel it, can have more than 2 wheels, for example a tricycle. It can be propelled up to 15.5 miles an hour without pedaling, but only if it's been approved. So your bike cannot exceed the speed limit. I've seen one online where them doing 50-60 miles an hour. I'm like, dude, that's classed as a motorbike. That's not an electric assisted bike. It's now classed as a motorbike. You've moved it up a class, and that means you have to have a license, get it registered, MOT'd maybe, taxed, and also you had to take a test, a road safety test. I mean, we took a road safety test. Well, I've never took a road safety test for biking because I've been biking all my life since a young kid. I know the rules around it. So, like I says, if police stop me and say, "Oh, you ain't supposed to be," because I've been like I say, guys, I've been stopped on many occasions riding on the footpath, and also you laugh at this as well, and on the road. Where do I ride? If I could ride on the footpath to go to work or the road, where do I ride? The police, what they do is, if they stop you, they issue you with a stop ticket. So if another police officer stops you down the road, then they have to let you carry on because you've already been stopped. They can't do anything about it. They're still because of that stop ticket. But it depends on how heavy the traffic is on the road. So if you're riding on the road, if the traffic's heavy, get off the road immediately and go on the footpath. It is, and also this law exists which people don't even know about. It is actually illegal to ride a bicycle, highly illegal to ride a bicycle on the footpath. But because of this day and age, every footpath near enough probably will be converted in the near future by the council as what you call them, bike cycle lanes, which I think there should be more of them. I really do think there should be more of them, especially down the Bilston Road. Nobody hardly walks down it. That one side there should be a cycle lane. That one big road go all the way down. It should be a cycle lane, but it's a footpath. Then you have to come off the cycle lane that's on the ring road, and then ride on the road, which is basically a dual carriageway. Now, I don't think that's safe. That is not safe for a biker to go down. A biker should not have to go on the dual carriageway. This is why I stick to the footpath. If it's a dangerous road, I won't go on it. I've got common sense. I want to live. I don't want to fucking get killed. Sorry for my language, but that's the way I see it. I want to live. I don't want to be killed. Especially by idiot drivers who drive like maniacs. And I've seen them driving like maniacs. I want to get home safe from work, back and forward from work to home, safe and sound, without the added fear of being run over. Now, where was we before I got onto a little bit of a tangent about that? Right, we was here, were we? Yeah. More than two wheels, for example, a tricycle. It can be propelled up to 15 miles an hour, pedalling, but only if it's been approved. So if it's been approved, you can ride up to that there. It's electric motor. Now, here's where people start being silly. It must have continuous rate of power output no more than 250 watts. Must not be able to propel the bike when it is travelling at more than 15.5 miles an hour. So if you're travelling more than 15.5 miles an hour, the engine should cut off. What is your EAPC must show? Markings on the bike must show both the continuous rating power output and the bike manufacturer. It also must show the battery's voltage and maximum speed of the motor that can propel the bike. Yeah. Where you can ride an EAPC. If your bike is an EAPC, then you can ride it on cycle paths, and anywhere else pedal bikes are allowed. You cannot ride it on pavements. This is where I was saying you can't ride them on pavements. People have been riding them on pavements, mate. You're not supposed to ride a pedal bike on pavements, but this law might be. I think they will be changing this law because the police take a blind eye to it anyway. But the thing is, you need to be aware of other people who use the pavement. Say, for instance, if the road is full of cars, yeah, and it's too busy, and you feel like you're in danger, then that's the time to leave the road. With the footpath, on the other hand, yeah, it's best to just pedal on the footpath or get off the footpath where it tells you, because you do have some signs that cyclists must dismount, or get into a cycle lane. That's my option. That's my opinion. If I was cycling on the road, I'd rather have a cycle lane than going on the footpath. That's my opinion, but there's not enough cycle lanes to even consider that. So always make yourself aware on the footpath. If you're behind someone, have a bell on your bike, ding ding, you know what I mean, to get past somebody. Don't just pedal up to them, spook them so they jump in front of you and you run them over or something like that. There's no point in doing that. That's just silly. But like I say, now here comes the fun part. This is the law that you need to listen to. When your bike is not an EAPC bike, if your electric bike does not meet the EAPC rules, then it's classified, yeah? It's classified as a motorcycle or a moped, which means it's limited to the road. You cannot go off-road. Even if it's an off-road motorcycle, you still cannot. You can't ride a motorcycle on the pavement. Same with a car. You can't ride a car on the pavement. Which those cars that are always parked down there on that pavement down there, I mean, if there was an enforcement officer coming round going down that road, mate, he would have a field day and put tickets on every single car that's parked outside them premises, because them cars are not meant to be parked on there. But yeah, right, is it? Well, where was I? Motorcycle or moped? Your bike is not an EAPC if it can be propelled more than 15 miles an hour. Means if it goes more than 15 miles an hour, then you need a full driver's a motorbike license or a license to drive it by the motor. Has a continuous rate of power output higher than 250 watts. Does not have pedals that can propel it. If your bike is not an EAPC, if your electric bike is not an EAPC, you must be registered and taxed and get a driving license. Wear a motorcycle helmet that meets British safety standards and insure your vehicle. That's what you need to do. A lot of these people are not doing that. You're riding these electric bikes going over this speed limit, and it says here, now this is really important, if your bike is classed as a motorcycle or motorbike or moped but has not been insured, you may get a fine or your bike may be seized by the police. See? And this is what you're risking: seizure of your bike, no insurance, no tax, no MOT. Oh, you don't need MOT, but like, it needs to be insured and taxed because it's a motorcycle. If you're an electric bike is not an EPA, then you can only ride it on the road. There you go. You cannot ride it in cycle tracks or cycle lanes. There's the law right there in plain text. When your electric bike needs vehicle approval, an electric bike must be approved either if it can be propelled up to 15 miles an hour without pedalling. For example, a twist and go, it does not meet EPA rules. So if it's a twist and go, it doesn't meet the rules and is classed as a motorbike. This should be done by the manufacturer or importer before you buy it. If it's been approved, it will be marked with approval number. If it's not been approved, you can apply for motorcycle single vehicle approval, MSVA. So that's it. There it is. There, that's where it all is, guys, on the UK government website. Just type in e-bike law, UK e-bike law, and it will come up. There you go. Remember, guys, if it goes more than 15 miles an hour and your engine propels you over that limit, then you need to register it, tax it, get a provisional driving license. You can use a provisional driving license. You don't even need a full driving license. I've got a provisional. I ain't got a full driving license. I've got a provisional because I used to what you call it? I used to drive a car illegally. In fact, I never had a license or insurance or tax. I used to drive a car. But then I learnt, and I thought to myself, I need to get myself, legit, especially when it comes to bikes now, because they might start telling people, especially people over a certain age, to get a driving license for a cycle and insurance. In reality, it should be insured. It should be insured in reality, but they say, oh, it doesn't need insurance, but I beg to differ. I got it insured just in case. But that's it. I just needed to do a video on this. I didn't think I was going to do a video on this, but it's for educational purposes. It's just to educate you guys on the e-bike law in this country, because nobody is actually listening or abiding by this law, and they're blaming the police for taking their vehicles off them. Well, you're asking for it, guys. Not literally asking for it, because you're not buying by the rules. You're not listening to the regulations on this in this country, and you should be. If you're like, you could just come over. It's like a car, right? You import your car from another country into this country, yeah, and you want to ride it on UK roads. Same with a motorbike. You want to ride it on UK roads. You got to get it taxed, insured, right, registered, yeah, with the DVLA. So it's registered with the police and DVLA, right, and you got your license sorted. You don't have any of those things, then you're not allowed to drive. Simple as. I mean, it takes the government ain't telling you to retake your driving test. You know what I mean? Because once you pass your driving test, you passed your driving test. You ain't got to retake it unless you're disqualified from driving, or they ask you to retake your driving test. Or yeah, I mean, when it comes to bikes, it's so simple and so easy to get trapped into getting a electric bike and then having it took off you, not realising that the power output is more than 15.5 miles an hour. The police find that out. If they stop you and they find that out, they take the bike off you. Oh mate, you can't ride this without a licence. I've got a licence. They could touch me. I've got a licence. I'm licensed and insured. The only thing is, I'm not taxed. I don't need to be taxed because bicycles are exempt from tax. They're exempt because there's no engine. There's literally no engine. You get what I mean? This is why they're exempt. Because we are, how can I explain it? We are, without offending the petrol heads, we are planet eco-friendly. You know, that's what it is. And that's the thing. I'll leave this on the screen a little bit so you can actually read it, but you can pull it up yourselves on your phone. UK e-bike law. I'll put it in the description. So you can look it up. Please do not, under any circumstances, modify your bike to go over this speed. I've got a friend who's got one whose bike does go over that, and I don't know whether he's got a motorbike license or what, because he rides it on the road. He's got full lights on it and everything, and I'm like, wow, like literally, wow. It is heavy. It's way heavier than my bike. My bike's light, but it's extremely heavy because it's got a proper miniature engine on there. I think it can go. It goes more than 20 miles an hour. I know that for a fact. But I did not ask him about the rules because it didn't occur to me. Like thinking, because it's pedal assisted as well, which is kind of funny. And it didn't occur to me to ask him if he got a motorbike license, because over a certain speed on a bike, you're actually breaking the law. You can't go. You're not allowed over 20 miles an hour on a cycle bike. That's the speed limit of a cycle bike. If the police cop you, you can be done for speeding on a cycle. Yeah, it's funny. You could probably hit that going downhill. I know I can hit round about 25 miles an hour going downhill, but keeping that speed on a cycle is impossible because your legs cannot do 20 miles an hour. There's no way. You can't run 20 miles an hour. If you can, you must be freaking Superman. But yeah, that's the speed limit of cycles in the UK. You could probably do that as well. You can search that out and all. I'll search, yeah, I'll search it out for you. What's the speed limit for cyclists in UK? Oh, it's got no speed limit set. There is no speed limit set for cyclists on public roads in the UK. They're not legally obliged to adhere to the same speed limits as motorists. So not really legally obliged, but motor vehicle speed limits were introduced in 1903 and set at 20 miles an hour. However, cyclists can get speeding fine when they exceed the cycling speed limit in royal parks. So what is the speed limit? It says 1.3 miles an hour or 2.2 here. Why don't I just give it the, like, I don't understand what, like, why is the UK law and legislation so stupid sometimes? Like, why don't they just turn around and say, okay, cyclists, for a speed limit for cyclists on public roads and through parks, if they go off road, like 20 miles an hour. You know what I mean? I use that as a guide, so however, I'd rather use that as a guide. So 20 miles an hour, right? Class it as a legal speed limit for cyclists. You don't have to adhere to it. There's no obligation, but just class it as a medium speed limit so you don't get yourself into trouble. Well, that's it, guys. That's my whole thing on this matter. Because I don't like seeing people have their bikes took off them because they're not adhering to this legislation. It's this legislation is what is taking your bikes off you. It's not the police. The police are just doing their job. It's like this here. Just adhere to this legislation and you won't get into trouble, and keep it under 15.5 miles an hour. Like, keep it under that. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it here. You know, what time is it? Yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. So I've got other stuff to do, and I will see you guys. When shall I see you? Let's have a look. Saturday coming, the 8th. Couple of days time. Right then, guys. Bye bye for now.